economic capability creates security and confidence. Breadwinning is not gendered trait. Hello everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Rebecca. I am the founder of Sensei, a mother of 2 girls, and a serial entrepreneur who has spent many years thinking deeply about how people build their lives and navigate the systems around them. Becoming a mother is actually one of the reasons I feel strongly about having conversation like this. When you have children, especially daughters, you begin to think carefully about the world they are growing up in. You ask yourself what kind of ideas, beliefs, and values will help them develop strong and confident personalities that allow them to thrive in the future. I want my daughters to grow up understanding the systems around them, rather than simply adapting to them. But my interest in understanding people and society started much earlier. Before I came to the UK 20 years ago, I worked as a television journalist. In that role, I covered many different kinds of stories, including situations involving life and death. Later, I also worked as a radio broadcaster. Those journalism experiences exposed me to the complexity of human life. It made me curious about how people make decisions, how societies organize themselves, and why individuals behave the way they do under pressure. That curiosity eventually led me to study business. I completed my MBA degree with a particular interest in human capital, the idea that people themselves are the most important resource within any organization or system. After graduating, I got married and started my first business with my husband, who was actually my MBA classmate too. He is Italian, and our cross-cultural relationship has given me another perspective on how cultural expectations shape our thinking about family, work, and leadership. The ideas I want to share today come from a combination of personal experience, professional observation, academic study, and many years of reading and reflection. Today, I want to talk about something that is often misunderstood: feminism in the real world. When people hear the word feminism, many immediately imagine protests, ideological arguments, or conflict between men and women. But for many women, feminism actually appears in a much quieter place. It appears in everyday life, in how we manage work and family, in how we negotiate responsibilities inside relationships, in how we balance ambition with caregiving jobs. For many women, feminism is not an abstract political debate. It appears in practical questions, like who carries the invisible labor in the household, who steps back when childcare becomes demanding, who manages the emotional climate of the family, and who carries the long-term responsibility for the financial security. Many women today are educated, capable, and ambitious. Yet, many still feel stretched, conflicted, or overwhelmed. Often, the explanation offered to women is very individual. We are told that women need more confidence, better time management, or stronger ambition. But I believe the real issue is deeper than individual psychology. Many women are not struggling because they lack ability. They are struggling because they are operating inside systems that were never consciously designed for them. These systems are often invisible, and because they are invisible, they become extremely powerful. Before developing my own framework, I spent many years reading the work of researchers, economists, and writers who have examined gender inequality and economic structures. For example, the book Why Women Are Poorer Than Men and What We Can Do About It explores how childcare costs, career interruptions, and pension gaps all create long-term economic inequality. The famous book Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg encourages women to remain engaged in leadership and professional development rather than stepping back too early from their careers. Another influential work is The Authority Gap by Mary Ann Sickhart, which explains how women's expertise is often undervalued in professional environments. Similarly, Fix the System, Not the Women by Laura Bates highlights the importance of addressing structural inequalities rather than simply telling women to adapt. And the book Inferior: How Science Got Women Wrong by Angela Saini. It shows how historical scientific narratives often underestimated women's capabilities. Reading these works actually helped me realize something very important. Many of the challenges women face are not personal failures. In fact, they are systemic patterns. Our lives are shaped by several layers of systems. First, there is the cultural system. These are the shared beliefs societies pass on from one generation to the next. Ideas such as men should be the breadwinner, mother should sacrifice their careers, financial ambition belongs more naturally to men than to women. These beliefs influence how people think about work, family, and responsibility long before the couples even form relationships. The second layer is the relationship system. This is where two individuals organize their lives together, how responsibilities are divided, how financial security is built, how domestic work and childcare are shared. Many couples believe these arrangements are purely personal choices, but in reality, they are strongly influenced by cultural expectations. And the third layer is the personal system. This is the level where individuals begin to regain agency. And this is where change becomes possible. To describe this process, I developed what I called Sensei's Golden Triangle. The Golden Triangle describes 3 stages of personal agency: harmony, growth, and realization. Harmony begins with the self. It starts with self-awareness, understanding our emotional reactions, recognizing the expectations we have inherited, observing our own patterns, rather than being controlled by them. When individuals develop this awareness, they begin to gain emotional stability and self-control. Once that internal foundation exists, the second stage becomes possible, which is growth. Growth means expanding capability. This includes communication skills, negotiation skills, financial literacy, and professional development. Financial independence is particularly important. Not because money defines success, but because economic capability creates security and confidence. Breadwinning is not a gendered trait. Let me repeat again. Breadwinning is not a gendered trait. It is a skill that can be developed by nearly anyone. The final stage of the triangle is realization. This is where awareness and capability translate into action. At this stage, people begin to consciously redesign the systems around them. They renegotiate responsibilities, they build financial resilience, they create family structures that reflect their values rather than simply inheriting old expectations. Empowerment is not simply confidence. Empowerment is the ability to redesign the system shaping your life. Motherhood is often described using the language of sacrifice. We all heard it too often. But if we examine it more closely, motherhood actually requires many leadership skills. Mothers constantly make long-term decisions about education, well-being, and family stability. They manage time, resources, and emotional dynamics. They mediate conflicts, balancing the competing priorities, and plan for the future. These are leadership functions, yet they are rarely recognized as such. When mothers develop awareness, capability, and agency, they are not only raising children. They are shaping the next generation's understanding of responsibility, equality, and partnership. Children observe how adults organize their lives. They observe how responsibility are shared. They observe how financial security is built. In this sense, motherhood is not separate from leadership. It is one of the most influential leadership roles in society. Going beyond the stereotype means recognizing that Feminism is not against motherhood, not against partnership, not hate men, certainly not against ambition. It simply asks whether the systems around us allow everyone to pursue those things fairly. The systems that many of us inherited were never consciously designed for us. And when we begin to understand those systems, something powerful becomes possible. We gain the ability to redesign them. Empowered women do not simply adapt to the systems they inherit. They learn how to redesign them. Thank you for listening, and I hope you liked the video today. If you liked the video, please click like and subscribe. We will produce more quality videos. I'll see you in the next one.